To the study masters of Earth, this is Zal Katem, weapons master of Suban. In the wake of the fall of Cortana and her created, the Arbiter desires to strengthen our alliance even further. And so, I have been requested to provide more in-depth analysis on the weapons native to our Blood Moon, to face the growing threat of the Banished and other such splinter factions. It is true that for some time, your species have dabbled in our technology on your own vehicles and weapons. But you have only scratched the surface of an art that took the Sangheli generations to master. For myself, I have crafted many weapons and armaments using the materials native to our world, and I have poured into the accounts of other talented weaponsmiths. No other possesses the knowledge in the craft than I. But enough of that. Let us discuss the weaponry that relies on the crystalline substance that your kind has come to call needle weapons. To speak of these instruments of death, we must first go to the source of its lethal ammunition. Suban, the Blood Moon of Sanghelios. It is but one of the two natural satellites that orbits our homeworld in the system. It is here that flows the exotic metastable crystals, used for the needle-based weaponry your kind is all too aware of. Many veins of this strange substance snake throughout our world's interior, but are found nowhere else in known space, and cannot simply be synthesized, despite what some of your scientists believe. Although our ancestors knew how to manipulate and weaponize the crystals, they lacked a deeper understanding of its properties when they first began to incorporate them, and grew to believe that even rudimentary scientific investigation was tantamount to heresy. All that changed with the rise of the Covenant, and with it came newer weapons and mining equipment. It is from these new tools that broke the crystals into needle-like shards, which, after being catalyzed by a magnetic auger, exhibits predatory tracking properties against living targets, violently exploding shortly after impact. Though we would fashion the crystals into strange, fanciful, and ornate objects, our greatest use for this mineral was a new form of ammunition: blamite. Once our artisan armorers came to harness this powerful ammunition, many Subanese weapons flourished over the millennia of Covenant rule. During the War of Annihilation, your kind has encountered many such weapons, but the most common was the Naleak's patterned needle launcher, what you humans have dubbed the Needler. Mechanically simple and able to inflict gruesome damage with negligible accuracy, the Needler was a popular infantry weapon in Covenant service, especially among the lower castes. Naleak's pattern, like all the other Needlers, is a guided munitions launcher that fires Subanese crystal shards able to track targets. The shards impale on contact and explode after a few seconds, neutralizing most enemies in a single salvo. When many shards are fired at once, their chemical properties supercombine for an even more destructive effect. Moreover, the shards' ammunition have little risk of causing dangerous hull perforations, given that the crystal ricochets off most surfaces. Though originally designed in the sacred promissory of High Charity, Lodam Armory has succeeded in the production of such weapons. Though much of the deeper understandings of the Subanese crystals were lost when the Holy City fell prey to the Flood, it remains in widespread use among the Covenant's successor states, appealing even to human pirates, as they consider the weapon flashy and intimidating. Even before the fall of the Covenant, many patterns of the Needler were used by all stations within our hegemony, some that your forces have even recovered and examined for themselves. And after the Empire's collapse, some newer patterns have emerged. The pattern you've designed as the Type 56D is one of these. By the Blood Moon, I'll never understand your terminologies. For the sake of time, I'll spare you our designation. In many ways, this needler shares many of the same traits its predecessors are known for, with one noted exception. It contains a smart scope for more accurate precision. No longer bound to the strictures of the Sanshayum, some weaponsmiths have altered this pattern to suit their own needs. An example of this is the Talon of the Lost, which fires carefully calibrated shards that can embed themselves in the strongest of armors. Another is the Hailstorm, which derives from an ancient Sangheli design predating the Covenant, far back to the early days of our golden era of interstellar exploration. This variation fires blamate shards at high speeds, has superior tracking capabilities, and features a larger magazine capacity. But another needler pattern has arisen not that long ago, those not intended for Sangheli people, or even the Covenant's would-be successors, but for the banished. This pattern is known as the Posu Gelka pattern shard launcher, crafted by the artisan armorers of Lodan Armory. The Posu Gelka was quickly adopted by banished infantry due to its basic, rudimentary operation and its barbarically gratifying results. Although the true nature and functionality of the weapon remains enigmatic to most banished warsmiths, this needler is one Covenant weapon that crossed the faction's integration delta with relatively no meaningful changes, as it most accurately serves their inclination towards brute force and indiscriminate carnage, and can effectively be utilized by every warrior in their numbers. Given this simple fact, there has been no immediate desire to alter or improve its design. Even still, some technology-sound warsmiths have modified this needler to suit their bloodthirsty nature. The weapon designated as the Pinpoint Needler is one of their most dangerous innovations. It is a modified needler with advanced targeting acquisition and lower super-combined requirement, with an upgraded ammunition capacity. Our spies indicate this gruesome needler is in the possession of a Kigyar shipmistress known as Rith Kul, a deadly commander within the Banished. Although the needler was favored amongst the rank and file within the Covenant military and the splinter groups that rose from its ashes, they were not the only weapon that relied on the Subanese crystals. One such is the Gadulo pattern needle launcher, a long-ranged marksman weapon that leverages explosive Subanese crystalline shards. The Gadulo pattern is a favorite of the Kigyar snipers and scouts, who are valuable trading partners for Suban mining clans. Aside from the jackals, it has been known to be favored by certain Sangheli Ranger lances, as well as other high-ranking officers for its precision and lethality. For that reason, it has been known amongst your kind as the Needle Rifle. The weapon is remarkably accurate, exchanging the unchecked ferocity of the needler for careful precision, and is capable of felling even the most seasoned opponent. The needle rifle's crystalline shards are held in an ammo cylinder that is expelled once it is fully spent. When a new cylinder is loaded, the top module locks in place, splintering crystal shards that then extrude out the apertures of the weapon's shroud, preparing them to be catalyzed and fired. Multiple shots from the needle rifle are devastatingly powerful and almost always lethal. Once manufactured in the fabled Sacred Promontory, the Melish Bazaar has of late took over the production of the needle rifle for the Arbiter's cause, as well as for other parties. While the needle rifle remains popular among our Sangheli brethren, some of the boldest of our kin have experimented with other weapon patterns to incorporate blamite, so that they may mimic the Gadulo. The greatest example of this is a custom-crafted Moza pattern carbine, known as the Blood of Suban, created by Scions of the Chava clan. Growing up, Silset and Oberyn Chava always showed a keen talent for optimizing instruments of war. Whether destined for the battlefield or the hunting preserves, modifications born of their expertise quickly became a favorite of other skilled warriors. Customizations that oftentimes drew the ire of any Sanshayum who might get wind of such unsanctioned deviations, much to the brothers' suppressed satisfaction. Eventually, Silset accepted a commission within the Sacred Promissory, where his extensive knowledge and experience with the Subanese crystals was put to use. Oberyn took a role at the Iriru Armory, and helped drive lethal advancements in the Covenant's carbine and particle beam rifle platforms. When the Great Schism befell our empire, lines were drawn and alliances fractured. Having always been keen to see the Sangheli break free of their dependence on the treacherous prophets, Silset and Oberyn found themselves united under the Arbiter's leadership. Eager to use their mastery of weaponsmithing to new and more honorable ends, the brothers collaborated on a modified carbine that would take on both the role and the soul of the brothers' homeworld, and adapt key attributes of Silset's most beloved armament, the Gadulo pattern needle rifle. The result is a master-crafted arbalist that fires carefully carved Subanese crystal shards capable of penetrating armor and detonating in lethal super-combined explosions. Nicknamed the Blood of Suban by Swords of Sanghelios marksmen favored with its use, the rifle's intricate firing mechanisms and cunningly sharpened crystal projectiles are being reviewed for use in other weapons. As a fellow weapons master, I must applaud the Chava brothers for their ingenuity and craftsmanship. Beyond simple handheld projectile weapons, the Covenant had made use of Subanese technology in other ways. They had been known to use them in mines, which are known to your kind as proximity mines. While sharing a similar appearance with the Chersi pattern Void Maker, it functions very differently. For once set off, the mines fire a series of needle projectiles in all directions, felling all within its range. But the most common use of Blamite is the needle cannons, which can be found across the Covenant's arsenal. The mounted Kiwi Umpipa pattern Citadel turret is one of these, for their Blamite turrets can swat any aircraft out of the sky like an insect, should they tread too closely towards a Covenant citadel. Another such application is on vehicles such as the Bakaune pattern support fighters, what your kind have called vampires. This was one of the most easily distinguishable Covenant close air support vehicles used during the war. Its primary weapon is a super heavy needle cannon that fires dense shards of self-tracking crystalline fragments that found any foe within their sights. The most telling use of Subanese weaponry was placed on the Panab pattern battlesuit, what you humans and the Ungoi came to call the Goblin. This mechanized Ungoi battlesuit is not only armed with a powerful needle cannon capable of felling the strongest of enemies, but it is also equipped with the dreadful Shardstorm launcher. When deployed, the Shardstorm fires a large number of Subanese crystal projectiles at once, homing onto various targets and individually tracking them, laying waste to all before them. Their banished counterpart, the Eklundal Workshop Balaho battlesuit, are likewise equipped with such armaments, if not more violent and unpredictable. Beyond armed projectile weapons and ordnance, the Subanese crystals have been known to be used in close-quarters weapons as well. Here on Suban, our warriors infuse Blamite into the core of our plasma blades, for only Subanese natives may possess the Lance of Suban, infused with a shard of the moon's own bounty. Another deceptively cunning innovation is the Pane Glass Saber, otherwise known as the Energy Cutlass, or Chiste by the Kigyar. The saber is sharpened and chemically treated with a shard of Subanese crystal combined with a modified energy projector, forging a particularly cruel weapon. These crystal blades are utilized by Kikyar raiders and pirates, as they make ideal weapons for boarding actions on hostile ships or in melee engagements in confined spaces. Some Ungoi have also been known to favor them after a fashion, though these are less common occurrences. The fact of the matter is, humans, that all these weapons are a mute testament to the power of the crystals that grant them such an advantage. Even now, your own armories have honed blamite to great effect, incorporating them as the chief ammunition to the chain gun for your needle warthogs. Such is the fruits of our alliance, but I fear that may be at risk. Since the fall of the tyrant, the AI you call Cortana, Suban as of late has been in a precarious position. Within months of the AI's demise, many covetous eyes have set themselves upon our mineral-rich moon. Being the only known source for the enigmatic crystals, several ambitious factions have sought to capitalize on the debilitated local security presence in order to make claims of their own. Chief among them are the Banished. They have even gone so far as to establish a mining operation on Suban, seeking to claim our resource, so that they can feed their ever-growing war machine. We will not abide to such impotence. Our Swords of Sanghelios have moved to support our local keeps in protecting some of the most precious and high-value mining sites on the moon. Yet, our struggle to maintain a secure hold on Suban's resources has proven to be a pitched battle. Even now, our forces war against the Banished in the skies above the Blood Moon. For we are determined to rid our world of these savage interlopers. Yet, these band of raiders and marauders have proven to be a daunting foe. But we will not relent. Suban and its resources belong to the Sangheli, and the Sangheli alone. We will make our stand, and we will fight to protect our birthright. Even to our dying breath.